This video is sponsored by Rich Wallet. Imagine you're about to have a fun paintball afternoon with a bunch of people only to realize that the enemy team is shooting with live rounds. Well, the giant forest around you makes it difficult to escape, the gear you wear doesn't even remotely protect you from a shower of bullets, and because all of that isn't bad enough, mobile connection is zero as well. No tweets. Well, in this video we follow a bunch of strangers that somehow came together, for some reason participate in a paintball match, and are for some reason several dozen miles away from the next town. If you think that this starts out as a bad premise, then you are very right. But this video does not intend to roast this very terrible movie. No, this video will roast the decisions these characters make, replace them with god-tier Bingexpress strategies, and totally beat the hunter in Paintball. My dog stepped on a bee. Let's go! Rich Wallet and I have partnered up for Father's Day to show you their epic selection of wallets. For the past weeks, I've been testing this 18 karat gold Rich Wallet and it feels great. It looks beautiful, the size is perfect, and the looks I get when I pull it out are golden. It holds up to 12 cards, has a cash strap, and there are over 30 styles to choose from. It also comes with this mini DIY set, including a screwdriver that lets you switch the cash strap into a cash clip, in case you favor that. It's a cool wallet to have, and it feels like it will hold up for years to come. If you like what you see, check out their wide selection of wallets via the link in the description and find the style that suits you best. Get also a 15% discount with using our promo code BINGE. All the info you need, you will find in the description. Thank you so much, Rich Wallet, for supporting this channel and sending me this epic little thing. A bunch of strangers, for no reason whatsoever, are in the back of a truck wearing paintball gear and hoods to keep them blind. They were not kidnapped, nor did they win $1 million and free tickets to the most amazing paintball live event ever by clicking on that annoying pop-up ad you shouldn't click on when visiting kinky websites. No, these people are here because they want to be here. Yet, even though they all came here by free choice, none of these characters know each other, nor is it ever explained why they are wearing hoods. So, as you can see, for the first 45 seconds of this movie, we must abolish logic in order to survive the next 80 minutes of absolute madness. As they reach the designated area where the paintball deathmatch will begin, each of them is completely arbitrarily assigned a class. We got a sniper, we got a leader, a stormer, etc. This is complete BS, as we will get to see in just a minute. Now, the rules of this game, which everyone still believes to be a standard paintball game at this point, are also explained. It's a capture the flag game in which 6 flags must be captured and the care package next to each flag secured. The leader is handed a map and the game pretty much instantly begins. Now they storm out, rush into the forest, screaming, while the cameraman is determined to make us vomit and have a seizure. But as the blackout drunk VR experience is coming to an end, our characters find themselves in a place where a few abandoned cars and buses offer some shelter. This is also the place where the first battle starts. Now mind you, paintball is a game of war and works in a way that whoever is hit by the paintballs is out. Now, getting hit hurts, but it's not deadly. Another feature of paintballs is that the paint splashes all over you, which shows exactly who has been hit and who is that one godmod dude that for some reason can be killed. Now usually, there are safe zones, benches or other sheltered areas where those hit must go to. But in this movie, once you are shot, where are you even supposed to go? I mean, there is no such area, nor is there a referee looking out for the rules to be followed anyway. None of this makes any sense, and looking at the sniper, who probably isn't iReaps, rushing forward is probably not the best idea when carrying a long-range weapon. But anyway, as they are trapped inside this bus and have nowhere to run to, 4 smoke grenades fly in and make things even harder.
Don't panic!
Someone on the other team must have brought them from home.
They chill for a few moments and then, one by one, after calmly inhaling the not extremely toxic and disorienting smoke, run out of the bus and try to gain some distance. But out of nowhere, one of them is shot dead. Boom. Imagine this. I mean, having fun playing paintball with a bunch of others, only to realize that the enemy team is using real weapons. That's kind of effed up. And that the area around you is ginormous and your team sucks on top of that doesn't help either. Because remember, your team always sucks. Well, the first thing I would do is realize that I don't really care about anyone else but myself in here. It was not the worst decision to participate in this game without any of my friends joining, so I might as well just stick to myself. The best strategy for that is always to run away from your team members 180 degrees, especially when they are incompetent. You don't want to end up in a collateral because some dude thought it was fun to block your view, right? So firstly, remove yourself from this group. This is important, and even more important depending on the moron level of that group. Second, elevated places are almost always better than ground level places. So, if you don't know where to run to, look out for elevated places. From there, you will have a better view of the map and probably will know where to run to next. And thirdly, find the limits of the map if there are any. If there is a limit or a border to the map and you're able to locate it, not only do you may find a way out, but even more importantly, that whole side is safe, meaning you can only be attacked from the other 180 degrees as opposed to 360 degrees. So even if you couldn't exit the area from there, sticking to that border will ensure you a huge benefit by keeping attacks away from that side. Our characters, however, regroup and continue screaming for no reason whatsoever. That's pretty stupid, isn't it? I mean, why would you scream around inside a forest where a killer is literally trying to track you down with a rifle? That's like smoking weed next to a police department and then wonder why you've been caught. As they flee the scene though, they come across a fence, which is kind of the thing that we've just talked about. Now, in a video game, these borders are mostly invisible walls that normally can't be broken through. This, on the other hand, is a fence. It's a man-made fence. Yet none of them come up with the idea to climb the fence, jump over it, and escape. I mean, if there is a killer around us, he inevitably must be on our side of that fence. So having a fence separating us would be the logical thing to want, no? Yet they don't. They continue playing while remaining on their side, which is pure insanity if you ask me, and reminds me of a bunch of sheep who use a door even though there is no fence on either side, or insects that feel trapped after you paint a circle around them. Anyway, so they decide to proceed and look for the next flag, which they find. The chick runs to retrieve it and finds the care package lying next by. In it, she finds a machete. Now, to be honest, I have no idea what is going on at this point. Someone was killed before and they just continue the game for some reason. In what world does that make any sense? Not just that, but a few minutes later, someone is killed by that machete, and it is not clear to me whether this was a team member or someone from the other team. Some of our characters wear green armbands, which to be honest is the worst color to go on a beige tone, and the killed person wore a yellow armband. Now anyway, I believe it was an enemy team member because another person with another yellow armband confronts one of our characters and goes ballistic. He speaks Russian though, and there is no translation because we don't need translations as movie viewers. We don't need to understand what's happening on screen. Why would you need translations? By the look of it, he looks confused because why would someone kill someone in a paintball match? Yeah, no shit. Meaning this is a real paintball match with two fighting teams, yet somehow there is at least one other player, certainly not belonging to the green faction, that shoots around with live rounds. If anything, this is the most important detail so far, right? Apart from the fence before, of course. At this point, the group deteriorates. They half-heartedly continue until another one of them, a girl this time, starts having a low-key anxiety attack and falls back. Now again, splitting away from the group is a good thing, but as a consequence of losing your mind, probably not so much. She is then found by someone that makes her unpack a box in which she finds a black object. She then runs away. I know that is an incredible plot revelation. I didn't make the rules, okay? You better like this video because this movie is torture. Anyway, she runs away, finds a human-made cave, finds a bulletproof glass floor, and starts pounding heavily against it because it's bulletproof glass, not fist-proof glass. She is then shot dead, and that was the end of her storyline. Now the guy who is the one killing everyone seems to be a solo player, a hunter of some sort, and his thermal viewfinder is definitely a big advantage in this forest. But if we can trick the thermal camera, we can become invisible, meaning we would have pretty much good chances to take him out. But how to trick a thermal camera? Well, glad that you ask. Well, while these characters continue doing more random stuff than teenagers on TikTok, let me explain. A thermal camera detects infrared waves. These waves are typically emitted by heat sources, so an object blocking infrared will make us invisible. Metal, for instance, does not let any infrared through, and mirror blankets, often used by people exploring very cold areas, are fantastic for that. These blankets do not let any heat escape, and on the reverse side, no heat can be detected from the outside. Unfortunately, in this forest, you won't be finding anything like that. The thick trees are your best options, really. Now, the bus and the abandoned cars from before would do the trick as well, but you don't want to stay in there for too long, especially if you are found, you will be cornered, and that's a death sentence. So, stick with the obvious. Climb the fence and run away. That is and was still the best chance of survival right here. But let's cut to the other bozos who at this point have been completely decimated, and no wonder. Playing a casual paintball match while people are being shot at and screaming around certainly does not help to stay alive. They have found another flag, hell yeah, and plan to capture it, of course. The dude rushes down like a rhino in a forest trying to grab the loot. As he gets up again, they unpack the care package and find another black object that has no purpose whatsoever. They figure out, surprise surprise, that it is a part of something larger, and presumably with all other parts together, it would develop into its final form. But much more interesting at this point is the fact that the killer has them in his scope. Now, before he can make a move, he is told via radio that he should spare them. This obviously reveals that there is a bigger secret going on. Let's have a look at that while the 4 remaining characters decide to split up and try going for the other flags and care packages in the meantime. We cut to a few shadowy figures having a good time somewhere underground. They're watching our characters and enjoy the show. However, as we have just seen, they also manipulate the outcome of this game however they want, which bears the question, why would you want to do that? I mean, if you're going to manipulate a game that purely aims to be entertaining, then what's the purpose of it anyway? I mean, unless people bet money on the outcome of this game, which they don't, manipulating this game diminishes all entertainment, no? Now that this incredible and big satisfying secret has been lifted, we can safely cut back to the most engaging final moments of our remaining characters. One team finds one of the earlier members trapped in bear traps, and as they approach, he warns them of any nearby traps. At the same time, the leader, whose every line in this movie was yelled, spots a huge-ass camera hanging on a tree pointing at them. Speaking about low profile. Anyway, for no reason, he then pushes the girl into the trap and leaves. We then cut to the other team who find another flag, and the chest of course, and open it and find other parts and at this point even red paintballs, yeah. It's a little bit of a change there. They figure it would be a good idea to try out this newly found ammo, which they do. Just bad that those balls don't fit their guns, which prompts them to malfunction and explode. In it is acid, which causes severe burns to this guy in a pretty ridiculous way. Well, the next death is even more effed up. As the lone survivor, aka the yelling leader, is on his way through the forest, he is preyed upon by the killer. For the first time ever in this movie, it's a one-on-one battle using melee only. While our guy has a huge machete, the other guy literally has a 3-inch tactical knife. Yet in the most unconvincing way possible, the killer kills our guy and continues with his killing spree. Let's move on to the most exhilarating part of this movie, also called the climax. Only 2 characters are left, a woman and the black guy who has just been injured with acid. At this stage, it is night, and they have a quick chat and then move away. The lights go out and we hear some screaming and the black guy is dead. Now, this is not a summary, okay? This is exactly what happens. Yes. See, I'm watching these movies so you don't have to. So, please, respect me. The woman then picks up an earpiece that happened to lie on the floor just a few meters next by, and on the phone is the lovely lady who is part of the organization that planned this deathmatch. She is then instructed about the killer and his thermal viewfinder and is convinced that burying herself is the only way to survive this night. If she makes it through, she will get additional health the day after, which is a pretty sympathetic thing to do, no? That's a pretty empathetic psychopath if you ask me. As she rises from the dead the next day, she receives another call that says this.
You must go back and retrieve the parts, both the ones you left along the way. You'll need them to construct a weapon of defense.
A weapon of defense. Everything makes sense now. Of course, a weapon of defense. We need to construct a weapon of defense and win this game. So, as she's looking for the final parts to construct this mysterious weapon of defense, she comes across the HQ of the ones that orchestrate this whole thing. She finds the last pieces in there and is then instructed to stand in front of the bulletproof glass so that the killer confuses her with all others, since he uses a thermal viewfinder. Our final character then pulls all her strength together, puts the 6 mysterious pieces together, and develops the most insane weapon of defense in existence: a grenade launcher. She steps forward, gets him in her scope, and boom, malfunction. He takes his chance and puts her in his scope, and boom, no ammo left. Through sheer dumb luck, she's then able to lure him in front of a non-bulletproof glass and pushes him through with her own body. Luckily though, she survives. It pains me to say, but this was already it. She escapes on mysterious railways and is then hit by something from behind. Now, in case you are an aspiring filmmaker, I highly encourage you to watch this movie to gain some insight as to how likely it is that your script will be made into a film. Chances are 100%. Yeah. Now, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I certainly did in some way. Stay safe, binge another one, and I'll catch you guys again soon. Peace out.